All right, settle in, because you are not going to believe the story we're diving into today. Picture this, a formal committee hearing, usually the kind of thing that puts you to sleep, right? But then, bam, Mr. Chairman, I propose that Representative Crockett publicly release her full college transcript. The words landed like a sudden punch, hitting the room with the force of a shockwave. Senator J.D. Vance, cool and composed, eyes fixed directly on Representative Jasmine Crockett. He wasn't smiling, and there was zero hint of just kidding. This was a formal, public demand. The air in that room just crackled. Reporters, sensing drama, scrambled and adjusted their microphones. And Jasmine Crockett? She just sat there, calm, almost serene, gently closing her notebook. It's these moments, the ones that peel back the layers of public performance, and reveal something raw and real that we absolutely love to explore here on Aileen's channel. Because this, my friends, wasn't just about a transcript. It was about to ignite a national conversation on what truly defines merit, who gets to question it, and the quiet power of truth. So, what happened next in this incredibly high-stakes political chess match? J.D. Vance, he wasn't backing down. He even dramatically pulled out a printed sheet, claiming it was from an anonymous online forum called Eddie Leaks, supposedly questioning Crockett's academic credentials. I'm not claiming it to be fully verified, he stated, trying to sound reasonable, but I do believe it's worth discussing, especially since we're here to talk about admission standards. The pressure was immense. All cameras, all eyes, zoomed in on Jasmine. Still, she didn't flinch. Instead, she turned a page in her notebook and, in a voice calm but crystal clear, asked, "Senator Vance, please clarify. What exactly do you want me to prove? A grade, a ranking, or an entire life?" Boom. You could hear a pin drop. Some people in the room started to nod along with Vance. You could hear the whispers. He's got a point. For a moment, it really felt like the tide was turning his way. But then a small, unexpected voice cut through the suffocating tension. A young law student, a guest at the hearing, stood up. "Excuse me," he said, his voice trembling just a little. "But being a good student is the standard for making good policy. Then why are there people with impressive degrees passing unjust laws?" Dead. Silence. That question, folks, wasn't just for J.D. Vance. It was a zinger for everyone in that room and beyond. It didn't stop Vance entirely, but it definitely pricked the balloon of his self-assured offensive. Vance tried to regain control, pressing Crockett again for transparency. The room was on an absolute knife edge. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, here's where it gets really interesting. A congressional clerk suddenly approached the chairwoman's desk, whispered something. The chairwoman's expression shifted from neutral to completely stunned. "We've just been informed," she announced into the microphone, "that an unregistered guest has requested to speak as a supplemental witness. That person is Professor William Hart, former Dean of Law at the University of Texas." The entire room collectively held its breath. J.D. Vance actually turned his head, a flicker of genuine surprise, maybe even alarm, crossing his face. And Jasmine Crockett? She slowly closed her eyes, not in defeat, but almost as if she knew this moment, or a moment like it, was always destined to arrive. Imagine this scene. A distinguished silver-haired professor, Professor Hart, walking slowly from the back of the room, leaning on an old wooden cane, a stack of documents in his hand. He didn't even need a microphone. His voice, deep and clear, commanded attention. "I apologize for not registering in advance," he began, his gaze sweeping the room. "But I'm here as someone who has taught both central figures in today's debate, Senator Vance and Representative Crockett." You could cut the tension with a laser. He carefully opened a folder and pulled out a single sheet, yellowed with age. Not a transcript. This, he held up for everyone to see, is a copy of Jasmine Crockett's senior thesis. Title: Equal Under Law, Unequal in Practice, A Legal Fracture. Below her name, winner of Best Legal Essay 2013, Federal Civil Rights category. He paused, letting that sink in. "This essay," he continued, his voice softening slightly, "was written while Jasmine's mother was in the hospital, in the final days of her life. I know this because I was the one who approved her extension request." but she turned it down. She said, "If I can't write this while I'm in pain, then what's the point of writing law at all?" Wow. Just wow. The room was utterly silent, save for a quiet sob from the back. But Professor Hart wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. Here's the kicker. He turned, looking directly at J.D. Vance. "I taught you, too, Senator Vance. I remember writing the letter that allowed you to resume the program after personal leave." Then came the line that would echo across the internet. "I taught both of you, but only one of you ever used hardship as a reason to delay, and that person was not Jasmine." Mic drop. He then revealed more. He shared that Vance, in his final year of law school, had sent a lengthy email requesting to defer all his exams, citing mild depression due to family pressure. Professor Hart had agreed, believing in empathy. He then contrasted this with Crockett, whose mother was undergoing her third round of chemotherapy. She hadn't asked to defer her paper. She only asked if she could submit it on the day of the exam, rather than before the deadline. She never even mentioned her mother's illness to him at the time. The room was stunned, absolutely stunned. J.D. Vance? His eyes were downcast, his hands clenched, a tiny bead of sweat visible at his temple. The entire narrative had completely flipped. This wasn't just a hearing anymore. It was a profound, very public lesson in character and integrity. And as we often see and discuss here on Aileen's channel, the truth has this incredible way of surfacing, often when and where you least expect it. That short, 3-minute and 48-second video clip, a Professor Hart statement, it exploded online. Millions of views in hours. Hashtags like hashtag Hart said it. The yes of that spoke, and even She didn't need to speak went completely viral. People weren't just shocked by the revelations about Vance, but profoundly moved by Jasmine Crockett's quiet dignity and resilience throughout the entire ordeal. A former classmate of Jasmine's even posted a heartfelt message about how she had handwritten lecture notes for him when he was struggling, or while her own mother was dying, a depth of her struggle he never knew until that hearing. And Jasmine Crockett herself? While the internet was a firestorm of debate and admiration, she did only one thing. At 7 a.m. on Tuesday, she posted a single powerful sentence on her X account. "Not everyone in the same class learns the same lesson." No hashtags, no tags, no photo. And that, my friends, was shared over 1.2 million times. It wasn't just a moment. It was a movement. It sparked a massive, nationwide conversation. Universities from Yale to community colleges started holding open forums, all under one theme. Who are we evaluating, and by what measure? An incredible op-ed written by a 16-year-old high school student went viral, anchored by the line, "I'm not afraid of bad grades. I'm afraid of learning without knowing why I'm learning." This one confrontation, this single, courageous moment of truth-telling rippled out way beyond those committee room walls, making people everywhere question what true achievement really looks like. In the end, one photograph seemed to capture the entire, weighty essence of the day. Professor Hart and Jasmine Crockett, standing near each other, a silent acknowledgement passing between them over the thesis paper he had laid on the table. It wasn't about winning or losing some political skirmish. Much later, when a reporter caught Jasmine exiting a meeting and asked if she thought she'd won that day, she paused, smiled slightly, and said, "I wasn't there to win. I was there so someone could learn what they needed to." What a profoundly powerful way to frame it. So, what do you all think about this incredible story? Here on Align's channel, we believe these are the narratives that truly matter. What does real strength, real merit, look like to you? Is it about the struggles you broadcast to the world, or the ones you overcome in quiet dignity? Have you ever witnessed a moment where silence and truth spoke volumes louder than any accusation? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Where did you learn your most profound life lesson? Was it in a formal classroom, or somewhere totally unexpected, like this hearing room? And if you believe in the power of these often untold stories, the ones that reveal the human heart and unshakable character behind the headlines, please make sure you subscribe to Align's channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. We've got so many more compelling stories and deep dives to explore together. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.